Hello my fellow freedom builders and welcome back to the channel. Now many of you have asked me the last weeks and months when you will get some new mining videos, and today is the day we're gonna look at a little exploring company called Cabral Gold. Now the reason why I can make this video today is that I have teamed up with a freelance analyst and I'm kind of running out of time in the schedule. So I'm trying to find some analysts that have a specialty in different niches. And this analyst I have found, he is very skilled at finding these interesting small mining companies. And I should say that he actually were in Cabral Gold a long time ago, but I teamed up with him now. So we are doing the video now. But as you can see, when we are looking at the chart later in the video, he actually got in at a very, very good time. So let's have a look at Cabral Gold. Now, I will start by looking at their investor material because they actually have some very, very well describing material, and I'll not go in depth with all the nerdy details of the mining part. You can read them for yourself. But I will just take the main parts out of it. Now, actually on this page 3 here, we get some very, very good information about it. Because first of all, the management and board here, 5 gold discoveries in Brazil. And so we know that they are located in Brazil and they're located in the area called the Cuyo district here. And the management owns 90% of all the shares. That is a very important thing when we are talking about these small gold mining explorers. Remember when I did my video about gold miners, I said that there are gold mining juniors and there are gold mining majors. And the majors are the steady companies producing steady profits like an oil company or some sort of manufacturing company. When we are talking about the juniors, they are either very small company already producing gold or silver or whatever are in the mines, or they are exploration companies where we have some geologists looking at the ground and doing all sorts of explorations and drilling some test holes in the ground to find out if there's actually gold. And these guys in the management here at the Cabral Gold, they have been in business for a long time, and they also sold their previous company in 2016 to Equinox Gold. That was Ross Beauty's Anfield at that point, but Equinox Gold, so that is one of the majors that are buying up these projects. And that's also the plan here, even though that the project here doesn't state it directly. Then these small exploration companies, they are rarely developing the mines themselves. That is very, very expensive, and it is a very big project to do. So what they're doing is that they are proving that there's a lot of gold in the ground. And then at some point when they have proved that and made samples enough, they sell the project to one of the majors. That is at least how it is often done. So what do we have? Well, they have a 100% interest in a 36-hectare Cuyo gold district in Brazil. And I know that all of you, of course, know where Brazil is, located here in South America. But what only recently came to my attention, and I must admit I hadn't done so much research here, but as you know, that I knew in advance, that a couple of 100 million years ago, the world actually looked like this. So we have South America here, and that was actually combined with Africa here, and then it spent the last couple of 100 million years get to looking like this. Now, what we know today is that in the region here, in Africa, in West Africa, there is a really insane amount of gold, or at least they used to, because now they're mining it all. But what many of these exploration and major mining companies are doing is they're saying, well, if this is used to be one region, then why wouldn't there be a lot of gold here as well? And their theory was right. They have found out that there are some very, very rich gold deposits in the ground here. So let's have a look at the scale here again. Now they are in this Cuyo district, and there are some very good indications that in the area that they own and where they have the mining rights, they have already proven or indicated and inferred here around 1 million ounce of gold. And as we're going to look at today, there are indications of a lot more than that. Now, in some 40 years ago, in 1978, there started a very big gold rush in Brazil, because people found out that a lot of gold was washed out via the streams, the floods, the wells down there. And there was a gold rush where a ton of people went into the area to pick up or to mine what is called placer gold. And that is simply gold that is washed out from underneath the ground, and you can find them you can wash it out of the streams and the wells and the floods down there. So an estimated 20 to 30 million ounce was actually found at that point, simply being washed out via the streams there. But what they can see now, and they can see it in one of the El Dorado gold project that is near the Cabral here, is that around 10 times as much as that was washed out in the streams, around 10 times as much can actually today be found in the ground. So that is a very promising statistics to look at, and this gold rush went on from around 1978 and then up to 1995. And I'll get to in a second why the majors and some exploration companies only recently have gone into Brazil here. But yeah, they're talking about potential for multiple deposits within this area, and they are talking a lot about the quality of the findings, because it is very high grade what they are finding, meaning that there is a lot of gold for every ton of material they are drilling here. And right now they have a project going, Cabral, where they are drilling 25,000 meters, and that is usually very, very expensive, at least with the diamond drills they're using. But they have bought some new equipment that will lower that price significantly. I'll get back to that too in a second. Now, looking at just an overview here, you can see that the 19% here, that is the insiders of the shareholders. There's a 44% retail and 37% institutional, which is very nice to have these large shareholders as well. As you can see at the price here, we can just look at the normal trading view as well. You can see that the price have gone completely crazy upwards here lately. And my analyst that was doing this, he came in here around, I think it was 25, 26 here. So he has been taking a couple of 100% turn up here. And you could discuss if it has taken the major part of its rise right now, but I'll get back to the technical analysis part in a second, because I think there is some more upside in this stock. So that is just the price right now. What we can also see is that when we are zooming a bit out here, we can see that here since the April-May time 2020, we can see that the amount of volume, the daily volume in the stock has gone up very, very significantly. And that is because they found some very promising gold deposits here. So that's one of the reasons why all of a sudden people rushed in. All right, here's the board. I'll not go in depth with them. I don't know any of them really, but I have seen several interviews with Alan Carter here. That is a very experienced guy. And he's one of the main shareholders as well. He's put a lot of money into this, and that is, in my opinion, a very good sign that the insiders, the top management, they are highly invested themselves. Now, when we look at this slide saying why Brazil, then it states that it is mining friendly. And that is correct, but that is something that has changed over the recent 10, 15 years, because it actually didn't used to be. And that is both something about the administration, the government attitude towards mining, but also this area has been extremely difficult to mine. They have known that there have been very much gold in the ground. They have known that for years and years, but it has been next to impossible to get in there. There was simply no infrastructure, no roads and so on. But the development in other industries has actually helped that. And one of the industries is the soybean, which is, there's a very large area here that has specialized in soybeans, and they have simply built the entire infrastructure to get this soybean industry up and running. So all of the majors and also the exploration companies right now, they can benefit from the infrastructure that has been built in this area, which means that they have a lot better chance of actually making money. Because as an exploration company, for instance, something like Cabral Gold here, they only have around $5 million on the book just in cash to spend. And as you can figure, that is not really enough to build any infrastructure with. Now, many of the pages in this slideshow is telling about the region. It is telling about where the drilling has been made. There is the different districts here where they're showing both where they're drilling, but they're also showing different maps and magnetic maps and so on, where that indicates, you can see all the black dots here, that is the drill holes. And then we have the historic placer workings, and that is simply where a lot of the gold, the placer gold, has been found in this area. And of course they're trying to drill in the areas. If, for instance, a lot of gold have been found in the streams in this area, then they're looking at a chart to see where is the underground water coming from, or where do we think it's coming from, and then they're drilling in that area, because the gold does not appear out of nowhere. It has to be washed out from some underground resources, and that is why they are drilling the places they are. The two main deposits they have right now, Cabral, that is the central deposit and the MG deposits here. That is where they have the estimated 1 million ounce of gold in the ground, but probably a lot more, at least 50% more, that is within reach. And also they are talking about maybe 3 to 5x if they dig deeper and expand the drillings a bit. All right. Now, I'll not go in depth with every single area they are planning on drilling, because there are maps for each and every one, and quality description of each and every one. And it is only if you are really into the details of mining and exploration that will tell you a lot. But what I will say is that one of the good acquisitions they have made is they have bought a second-hand, what is called an RC rig. And as it states here, a potential game changer. And I must say, when I saw this picture first, I saw, how can this little piece of machinery be a game changer? But there are two different ways of working with these drilling parts. One of is the diamond drilling, which is quite expensive. It is around 250 Canadian dollar per meter drilled. And what this piece of machinery can actually do is that it is expected to drill for 10% of the cost of diamond drilling, which is approximately 25 Canadian dollar per meter. And that means that they're cutting 90% off the drilling cost. And you can see, if you are drilling 25,000 meters in the current project, then that is very much you are saving. That is something in the area of 5 to 5.5 million Canadian dollar that you don't have to spend on the drilling part. And knowing that they have $5 million on the book, it actually means that they can drill 10 times as much. And when we know that an exploration company, what their game plan is to prove that there is a lot of gold in the ground and then sell the project to someone else, then being able to drill 10 times as much, that is the way to go, definitely. Now, in the appendix in this slideshow, we can also see what I talked about with the infrastructure development. Road constructed to sites, and we can see that both the local industries, but also the El Dorado, the large gold mining major, has constructed a new 7-kilometer road to their project, and from the Cuyo Cuyo you can actually access this network of roads. So you need to be a major to do this. So there are a lot of work being done on the infrastructure. Also, of course, there need to be an electrical grid. We saw that with one of the other mining companies I was analyzing, which was placed in Zimbabwe. They simply had to develop their own solar panel system because they could not rely on the local electricity grid. So that is also being worked on here. But if you want to dig deeper into all of the different holdings and potential drilling sites here with the Cabral Gold, then I think you should just click on the link below to find this slideshow, 31 pages, very well structured here, and then you can read a lot about it for yourself. When we're looking just quickly, and of course I always do that, look into Stockopedia, then we can see that it doesn't make very much sense with companies like this, because it will almost always tell us that this is not the place to go, there's not a good quality of earnings and so on, because of course there's not, because they're not making any money, they're burning money. And the thing with the exploration companies like this is that we need to see that they're not burning too much money, because they have they have some money in cash, and right now the Cabral they're having some warrants right now that makes that gives them some extra cash coming in right now. I think they have gotten some of them, but they have around $5 million in cash in the bank account to spend. And of course, a thing with buying such a new RC rig as they have, that's something that can significantly reduce their cash burning, which means that they can work for a lot longer time and they can work a lot more sites. And as far as I can tell, over the next period of time, they will drill a new place or drill a new site every 3 to 4 weeks, meaning that they can really cover some ground. That gives us some interesting perspective, because only one of these sites actually has to come up with some unknown sources of gold. And if we get some news release coming out that they have found some new deposit of gold in the ground, then we will definitely see the price go up. So looking at the fundamentals here, we actually just see what we expect to see, that they have negative earnings per share. Of course they have. What we can also see is, now these numbers are a bit outdated, the working capital is somewhat larger, and we can see that there are some negative net debt here, and that is because they are spending from their own fortune and not really taking up any debt. Of course, therefore the interest coverage is 100%, but otherwise it's not really something we cannot get much out of this. When we're looking at the technical side, we can of course see that this one has gone completely ballistic here, and a normal investor would say, yeah, well, if it already has gone up with several 100% and 600-700% since the bottom down here, then it might has run its course already. But I'm not too sure about that, but because what we can see here is that right now it has run up, but it is very steadily bouncing from the 20 SMA, and every time it gets a bit too far away, it drops. Here it dropped 20%, here it dropped 20%, so it's actually dropping 20% now and then, 25% here. So I would not be surprised if we saw a drop in price here around 20% down to the 20 SMA coming up, and then we could easily see some more moving upwards. And I will say that a company like this, and be aware that this is of course very speculative. It is not a stock that you should put all your savings into, or money that you expect to be using on anything else anyway near term here. But it is a speculative play. When I listen to the CEO talking, there are several interviews about him. He's a very competent guy, a very experienced guy. He's saying that he has been looking at hundreds of potential gold sites over the last 25 years. And he evaluates this as one of the most promising sites he has ever been looking at. And that's also why he's put pretty much his entire fortune into this project himself. All right, so what can we expect here? Well, when we are looking at other exploration companies, of course it is quite news related, because it has already gone up a lot. And if there's some news release coming out saying now we have found 1 or 2 or 3 new gold sites here in the area where they expected, then I think that the price can easily double. Now, a good thing always to think of here is what is the downside. And of course, the downside is, as he also says in a couple of the interviews, is that they don't find any gold at all. That they have some indications of about 1 million ounces of gold, but if they start to dig further there and find out, no, that was completely false, there's absolutely nothing in the ground, then of course the price will collapse. But with the area, with the history of the area, and with the competent people that are involved here, that is vouching for the quality here, then the downside is, I would say, minimal. And that is a dangerous thing to say with a company like this, because of course it can be cut in half. So you should never put 20 or 10 or even 5% of your entire fortune in one of these companies. But a small piece, a small chunk of your capital could go into this. But if you consider this one, of course you should do your own research, since I'm not a financial advisor. But personally, I would wait for the bounce of the 20 SMA. But as you can see, my analyst here, he went in at around 25 and took it up. He's still in it. So that is a very good deal. And his specialty is simply finding these small companies. So in the future, I will on a regular basis come up with some new candidates like this that are very speculative, where you should really consider how much money you put into it. But if you just hit one of them home run, it is kind of like the lottery ticket. Many of these can go up 200, 300, 500, some of them 1,000%. But just be careful that you are not getting hit by the gold rush, because then we tend to put too much money into them and think, yeah, I have $100,000 in my account. Let's say I put 70,000 in one of these that goes up 1,000%, then I'm rich and wealthy. That's not how it works. You should only put as much in here in companies like this that you can afford to lose. If you are placing a major part of your portfolio in the gold sector, then I suggest that you do it in some of the majors where you are getting a steady return, and then put a minor part of your capital into these very speculative exploration companies. But I think it is a very interesting company, and I think it has a lot of room for some upside. And I would not be surprised if just some of their plans are coming through. I would definitely not be surprised if it could take 2, 3, maybe 4x more upwards. So have a look at it, be a bit patient about it, try and follow their news. They're putting a lot of news out on Twitter and so on. And that is definitely a company I will try to see if I can put a bit of money in when it retraces a bit. That's all for now. I hope you found it inspirational, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe and like button down below the video. I'll talk to you soon. Take care of yourself and your money out there. Bye for now.